Hey everybody, what's happening? Look, today on the show, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. But today on the show, I have Greg McDaniel. Greg's an old friend of mine. He runs large teams in the Bay Area. He also has a podcast named Real Estate Uncensored. Now, over the years, I've known Greg for a while, and over the years, I've spent a fair amount of time talking with Greg, and I enjoy listening to his ideas about how to build a business. Now, he's a very unique and straightforward approach to listing and selling houses. And I wanted to have Greg on the show as this economy opens back up. There's no question right now, real estate is on the minds of most people in business, as it's a very direct indicator of a healthy market, a healthy labor market. And for the last year, there's been a large push upward on prices and equity retained by Americans. And by all measures, the upward thrust in price appreciation has been largely artificial, right? Artificial in the sense that when you halt foreclosures and stop evictions, you've fundamentally put a stranglehold on inventory, right? You create an artificial, weird balance of supply and demand. Now, this stranglehold is set to release very soon, right? They keep trying to run it out, and there's always some other new group suggesting it stay in longer. I think the last thing I read was the Consumer Finance Bureau, right? When's the last time you ever heard of those guys doing anything, right? They went out and made this big press release, and they wanted to halt evictions for the rest of the year. So that's not passing. But this artificial stranglehold is going to let loose its grip very soon. And as it happens, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, right? This thing may break loose all of a sudden. We see a bunch of foreclosures and a bunch of evictions, right? That may happen. Or it may come on gradually as different states start phasing out or people start running out of their unemployment, for example. Now, it doesn't really matter, right? All that matters is, A, that it's going to break loose in a matter of months, which it is, right? Whether that's 2 months or by December, another 6 months, it doesn't matter. It's going to happen before the end of 2021. And B, that you are positioned to take advantage of this inevitable onslaught of inventory, right? That's all that matters. One, that it's going to happen and you recognize it. And two, that you are in a place once this starts to break loose that you can benefit from it, that you can reap some of the rewards. Somebody's going to get it. Why shouldn't it be you? So I brought Greg on to tell you his thoughts. Look, before we get to the episode, we're sponsored by My Radio Expert. And My Radio Expert is a full service advertising agency focusing only working with realtors. So, look, whether you want to go offline with your marketing or you want to go all in on digital, My Radio Expert can help. And if you want a free 30-minute marketing consultation, go to myradioexpert.com and fill out the getting started sheet. We're also supported by eXp Realty. I'm a part of eXp. Look, and I think there's going to be a ton of people both exiting and entering this market as realtors in the next 6 months, the next 12 months. And now that I think about it, it's probably the next 18 months, we're going to see a lot of ins and outs. And, really what you need a brokerage that helps you. And if you want to join a brokerage where you get all the tools you need to succeed, right? A professional website, you get training, a CRM, a virtual transaction coordinator. And I won't even get into their revenue share. There's a lot of positives going for eXp. And if you want to know more, you can talk with me and send me a text. My cell is 619-301-0823. All right. Hey, let's get back to the show. Today on the show, today's guest is, he runs a team in Northern California. He's a trainer. He's a speaker. He's a podcaster. He's a little bit of everything. I'm thrilled to welcome Greg McDaniel. Greg, thanks for taking the time, man.
Job Deasy, brother. Hey, man, I'm super honored to be back on the show again. I thank you so much for the opportunity and for such a kind and generous intro on this thing. I am really looking forward to this. You and I are going to knock it out of the park. It's going to be an epic show.
Okay, all right. Well, that's you saying how great you are. This is going to be an epic show because I'm on it. Okay, that's true, man.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, look.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Here's the thing with you, Greg, right? So here's one cool thing about you, I think, and this is what I kind of like. Let's get into this a little bit. You do a little bit of everything, and you are a very curious guy, right? Like when it comes to getting leads, for example, like you are a guy who I don't know if you have OCD or ADD, but like you are a guy who gets into it. You do a bunch of research, you talk to a bunch of people, and you try it out. And I think in this market, right, people want to know what's working. So maybe we start there. I mean, look, in the last year or two, I'm sure you talked to a ton of people, you've tried a lot of things. Like, where do you see the market? Like, what's kind of working? Like if you, we'll start there and we'll get into. Well, I think we can broaden out or narrow in as this goes.
Sure. Yeah, not a problem. Actually, I want to correct you on something.
Okay.
I don't have ADD. I have ADHD, and I'm dyslexic. So those are two things that are factual.
Oh.
So yes, I'm a curious kid, and all the time, and I'm always trying to figure out what's going on. I'm always looking into the future, not to what the past is, not to what worked in the past, or what's going to work in the future. So a lot of the stuff that I'm putting out there and what I'm doing right now, I'm doing a lot of. We can unpack this in your vernacular, and we're going to go deep into geofencing. What's working with text messages, emails, landing pages, follow-up sequences. Website.
Well, dude, hold on. That's your ADHD talking. We don't have time to cover all those things, Greg. Right?
Yes,
that's a ton of crap.
Yes, you do.
No. All right. Okay. So look, for the people out there, the thing everybody's been struggling with is, this inventory issue, right? Like there's been no inventory because of a billion different reasons. It's likely to stay that way for the rest of 2021, probably into 2022. How do you see the market? Like what, like if somebody's out there, whether they're doing 5 deals or 8 deals or 40 deals, how would you orient them right now?
Sure. Not a problem. Good question. So I'm going to break it down for you really quickly with exactly what that I'm using, that's putting deals. My VA, my virtual assistant, Karen, she set 5 appointments for seller leads last week. She's already set 3 for me, this week. And I'm going out of town for 3 days to Yosemite. And so what we're doing is that I use a company called likely.ai, and then forward. So you can do app.likely.ai/refresh, and you can analyze your database to see who the most likely people are to be selling in your database in the next 90 days. Then I take that over to a company called Clever Leads, spelled with a K. And then I do a whole sequence of text, email, postcards, calls, my VAs reaching out to them. So for me, the inventory issue is not an issue. I think it's the way people view the marketplace right now. If you're going to view it in a certain light we've always done in the past, like, okay, we have to go to the MLS, we have to do this, we have to do that. Congratulations, you are going to have an inventory issue. But if you think outside of the box a little bit, you're going to knock it out of the park.
Well, okay. All right. So I'm unaware of this likely.ai. So in this app, you're saying that somebody has a database. Now, does it matter? Does it matter? I'm like, how big does the population, how big does the database have to have for this thing to kick out some results? I mean, because you can't have, let's talk about a database, right? Because databases are super duper important, right? Your database is the lifeblood of your business. And one big problem that real estate agents have is they don't think about the database. They go out, they search, they find somebody who is interested in selling or buying, and they try to work that one lead, and they put them in their database just so they don't forget their phone number. But what people don't do is go, okay, I met Greg, let me put him in my database. I met Toby, let me put him in my database, and then go out and re-engage me at a different date. So
sure.
How, for the people who just heard us and they said, oh, I need to get a bigger database, maybe talk about how you see database building work, at least maybe for you, or what's some clever ways or interesting ways to build a database, to actually go out and grab one.
Not a problem. You go into your phone, you can download all your contacts out of your phone. Now you have a new database. It's really freaking simple.
That's right.
Also,
right.
I mean, we're not doing brain surgery here, brother.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can also go to different dialers. If you like Vulcan, Mojo, RedX, you pick your poison. Go ahead and purchase the expires for sale by owners, for rent by owners, pre-foreclosures, and then download those folks, put them into your database, put them into a sequence of follow-ups, and now you have a new database. You're going to build new relationships. I mean, you don't have to go out and meet every single human being you put in your database. You just need to have some sort of common ground where you're going to be able to have a conversation with them and bring value add to their lives. As soon as you bring value to their lives, all of a sudden, you're the most valuable asset. I mean, I just listed a $1.75 million home and a $1.8 million home purely based on, some of the stuff that Clever Leads and I are doing together with text messages. And the reason why that they're in my database is because I downloaded them. Then I followed up with them. Then I said hi. Then I brought value. And then we got a deal going. It's really simple.
Okay. Well, it's simple. It's simple, man, because you've been doing it for forever, right? Like you and I have known each other for a while, and when we met, maybe in 2014 or 2015, you told me, here's what I remember. You're like, oh, dude, if you want to build your podcast, I have this list of real estate agents. Like you had like 35,000, on some like spreadsheet. And I didn't do it. You sent them to me. I didn't do anything with it, right? Like, and that's a problem. Hold on, that's a problem. Most people have. They're like, oh, I have these numbers. I don't know what to do with them. So, okay, so you're suggesting people go out, right? Hire a Red X, Vulcan Leagues, the Land Voice, whatever. Get their list, download them, and then start to interact with them. And you're saying that if you got these leads, you would first have your VA call them. No. Okay. What's the process?
No. What we do originally is we get all this information in, then we start a text message or email campaign depending on exactly what contact information we have for them. So we start an interaction of some sort. If they touch my custom video landing pages for half of 1 second, then I own their information for life. So what's going to happen is that as soon as the interaction starts to take place, my VA Karen is going to be monitoring the entire conversation. When they reach back, she starts a conversation. If they don't reach back, we have a whole set of follow-up contacts that'll take place at 1, 2, 5 minutes, and then 1 day, 5 days, 2 weeks, in regards to us kind of just pinging them a little bit more. The interaction is ridiculously effective. And, once they reach back to us, then Karen, my VA Karen, then she starts the conversation. Once the conversation progresses to the point where they are interested in having some sort of real conversation, she will then book them onto my calendar. And like I said, she booked 5 for me last week and 2 or 3 this week already. I have 2 calls already today to do these follow-ups. So inventory really isn't a problem. It's the lack of ingenuity that's the problem. People aren't thinking outside the box. They're not being creative. They're just relying upon what has been done in the past. You can't do that anymore. I mean, as of this recording, we're in COVID. I mean, the world's all kinds of effed up in all different types of ways. So you got to figure your way through this thing, man. It's like figuring a way through a maze. How are you going to get it? If someone put a gun to your head, said, Toby, you have to get a sale this month.
Right.
How are you going to do it?
Right.
Or your wife and kids are going to die.
Right.
You'd be like, I'm finding that damn deal.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And you know what? Every single person would find a deal by hook or by crook if there was a gun to my wife's head or my kid's head, right? Like for sure. But people don't feel, that sort of pressure isn't there. So people want to take the easy way out. That's the thing, right? And this is like, it's all really about friction. Most people want to achieve the life of their dreams without friction, right? They want it to be easy, and it's not, man. It's hard. It is hard. And you're 100% right. Like you said, think outside the box, right? You have to be creative, as an entrepreneur, which we all are. The real problem is most people simply are not creative. They're not. right? Like most people go, hey, come up with 10 ideas to do for this weekend. Right. And people are like, go to the movies, right? Like go to the beach, right? I mean, like they're simply not creative, right? They don't think about it. Hey, let's go find, okay. I won't get into what we can do for this weekend. Okay. But all right. So you download a list of people from, in this case, from another provider, right? Land Voice, RedX, Vulcan 7, whatever it might be. Now you have, for your system to work, the system that you're explaining right now, so you have a pre-configured set of text messages, right? So you have I just want to be clear because I don't know that everybody is getting what you're saying. So you have right now a list of a sequence, a text sequence, an email sequence, and then you just take the person and you plug them into your sequence. So the first thing is, people don't have this sequence. So just take a couple minutes and explain like just what these touches look like, right? Like how many characters, what does it look like? Hey, I'm Greg, like what does it look like?
Sure. Yeah, it's a great question. So I want to be really clear. These are not generic. They are 100% customized for the way that I speak. And anyone who's hearing my voice right now and know me, I'm pretty laid back, pretty charismatic, just genuine guy who really doesn't give a blank if you like me or not. And so my communication is put off on that manner. So the first email or text, whatever the sequence is going to be, whatever you have in regards to communication methods, is going to be something like, hey, Toby, just wanted to reach out to you. Wanted to connect with you about what we call it route, aka the address, about 123 Main Street. Boom. A couple of minutes later, send another message in regards to like, hey, I know that I just sent you a message a few minutes ago. Just trying to get an idea. And again, this is going to come in regards to what the portal is. So is it going to be an expired, for sale by owner, for rent by owner, pre-foreclosure? Are we doing circle prospecting for just sold, just pending? What's that going to be? So we put that in there. Like, hey, let's say it's an expired. Hey, I understand that your property at 123 Main Street did come off the market. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Mm-hmm. Not trying. The next one, 2 minutes later, not trying to intrude. I just want to make sure that you. I want to kind of see where you guys are in regards to your property. Then we wait about a day or two, and then we send another message out. And it's going to be something like, hey, I'm not sure if you saw my messages the other day. Just trying to touch base with you. When you have a moment, hit me back. Love to have a conversation. Then we wait another couple of days. We do another message in regards to that. And we always say, have a blessed and powerful day at the end of everything. So it's very, very kind. It's not intrusive. And then here's the killer. And I thought this was the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, but it works like a magic pill. What you do about a week later, they haven't responded, we do what we call a drip cap. And a drip cap is when we literally, I know you're going to think I'm freaking nuts. We literally just send them a text with a period. Oh, well, we know that. Yeah. But so what we do for a drip cap, and this is Jake Wolf over at Clever Leads, and what he does is he just sends a period. That's it. That's the last one. Mm-hmm. And people freak out when they get the period. They don't understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. But it gets the communication started. Once the communication is started, then we can identify if there's someone that we should talk to or we shouldn't be talking to. Mm-hmm. It's a very simplistic thing, but trust me, I say it's simple, but I've been doing it for over a year, and I was so baffled when I first started doing it. I didn't know what the blank to do with this thing. But Jake walked me through this thing, and it was fantastic.
Well, okay, let's table the whole Jake thing in a second because there's a lot to dig in there later. So what I'm hearing you say, Greg, so you get this list, and you have the sequence. And you just bombard them, right? Like, so you gave this whole pre-qualifier about your personality. So you bombard them and, especially on day one, right? You're sending them 2, maybe 3 text messages. So you're totally willing to get these people into your orbit and then get them out really quickly, right? Because, for most people, if you get an expired, right, they are already being bombarded. So, I'm sure people block you, but okay. So you don't care if they block you. You don't care if they say, hey, screw you, Greg, don't contact me again. You just charge forward. So what is the? I mean,
Yep.
I mean, with this method, um, in the first couple of days, like, what is your experience? Like, what happens? Like, when do you see using your method? Like, on what day do you get some sort of interaction, right? Where they reach back out and they go, "Hey, Greg," right? Whatever they say. Like, is it the first day you normally get something? Is it the third day? Is it the week 2? What is it?
So we're not looking at days, we're looking at minutes.
Okay.
And here's the crazy thing about it is that within minutes, we get anywhere between a 40 and a 70% response rate on all of our text message and email campaigns. I remember the first time Jake and I launched a text message campaign, it was 127. God, I'll never forget this. 127 expired listings, right? It was a Friday afternoon, and Jake looks at me over video conference, and he's like, "Hey, bro." He's an ex-military guy. He's like, "You want to put bullets down range?" I'm like, "What in the F does that mean?" He's like, "Do you want to get leads?" I'm like, "Yes, I want leads. Yes, yes, yes." So we launched out a campaign to 127 people. I had over 80 people respond back to me within 30 minutes, and it started almost immediately. My fingers were moving as fast as I humanly could to respond back to these folks. Yes, there were the F-offs. Yes, there were the, like, don't contact me. But there were also the people that were like, "Yes, how did you get my number? Yes, I am interested in still selling." And I picked up a $1.8 million listing just doing that one campaign. So it cost me fractions of a cent to get these leads. So we're not talking days or weeks. We're talking minutes and hours. And it's like, if you guys don't believe me, go check out Clever Leads with a K, spelled with a K, and try them out. I'm telling you right now, I'm speaking from experience. This stuff is insanity. It works so quickly, like
Yeah, but
your brain explodes.
hold on. Okay. So now I got to push back on you, right? So like,
Just go for it.
yeah, right. So you own a piece of Clever Leads.
Nope. I own zero Clever. I own nothing. I have no stock in Clever. I have no stock in Likely.ai. I get nothing monetarily from either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
These are just the systems that I'm excited about because they're putting money in my pocket and putting deals in my pipeline. That's it.
So hold on. So this is a little bit important. Okay, so you benefit zero if we go and sign Likely or Clever. You were and you were telling everyone your secrets because of why, Greg. I know the answer that I would give, but why are you so open with all these things that are working when nobody seems to have things that are actually working in this environment predictably?
Because, man, everybody deserves to live the life of their dreams. And if I have something that's working for me, why would I not want to share it with other people so that they can go and value add benefit to their family, to their loved ones, to their children, to their spouses, to significant others? There's no reason for me to hoard this. There's more business out there than any of us could handle. And if I could bring a deal to one person, that means that they don't have to work their 9 to 5, with TPS reports on, fluorescent lights with 3 different managers who are all a bunch of jerks, and I can help them do it. Why in the hell wouldn't I? That's a better question.
Yeah, that is a good question, and I'll tell you why most people wouldn't is because they don't they most people there's 2 things, right? Like, most people wouldn't drop. I'll tell you what, when I first started doing my podcast and people were, and we had a really massive audience in 2015, 2016. A lot of people would tell me, they're like, "Dude, I love your podcast, but I don't tell anybody about it." And the reason why they don't tell anybody about it, because they wanted to hoard the secrets, right? Basically, they were operating out of a scarcity mindset. Now, I can say for you, Greg, right, you are operating out of an abundance mindset, so you're willing to share all this stuff. The answer that I thought you would give when I asked you, like, why would you drop all these secrets, is this, and it's something that you and I both know. We can literally explain a method that works to everybody listening right now, right? The 30,000 people that'll download this today won't do anything with it, right? People will hear it, they're lazy, they'll think about it, but they won't do anything with it. People don't take action on the things that they hear. That's what I thought that you would say.
Well, that is true. A lot of folks will not take action. That's a very true statement, and it saddens my heart to hear that because there's so much value add in every single human being that's out there. I mean, and you have the ability to impact other people's lives without even knowing it. And so with these different tools, these different companies, and the ability to communicate and stay up with, on top of mind for folks to bring value to them, and asking a simple question of like, hey man, Toby, how's your business going? What's your perfect client look like? How can I help you grow your business? You ask that simple question. How can I help you grow your business? What does your perfect client look like? I'm a very progressive, marketer, and I'd love to be. I'm always out there meeting people. Can I connect you with somebody?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You ask that simple question to somebody, and all of a sudden, your business is going to just absolutely explode in a positive way, because people just don't understand that there are good folks like everyone who's listening to this podcast who want to be nice and kind to their communities and to their databases and share everything they have. Dude, during COVID, we've all been trapped in our houses. We've all been told what to do, how to do it, when to go home, when to, do everything, right? Why don't you flip it on your head and be like, how can I help you? Once you ask that question, your business, like I said before, will explode, because people aren't used to it. They're being told what to do, not how to help.
Yeah, right. And I think you're right. And I do think that if we all had that, I guess, that temperament or that mindset of, okay, let me try to add value, right? Like, how can I help you? I think that's something you need to continually ask, because most people, they might be going, oh, well, how can you help me, Greg? Well, geez, during this pandemic, my marriage is breaking down, or my kids are getting Fs, right? Or whatever it might be. I'm going crazy. I'm getting fat, right? Like, most people won't tell you. But I think if you keep reaching out and say, look, how can I help? Like, and telling stories, right? Telling stories of, I guess, just telling stories out in the world. Like, I think it gives people, I think you have to help people. I think you need to exhibit a certain level of vulnerability to really inspire that level of openness or vulnerability in the person that you're talking to.
Oh, 100%. Like, here's a great example. We want to talk about stories. Let's talk about a story. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, right? And I put my right arm over where my girlfriend usually sleeps, and she wasn't there. And I'm like, what in the blank? And all of a sudden, I realized, like, oh, shit. I must have been kicking or doing something that made her get up and go to the guest bedroom. This is where she could get a good night's sleep. Now, would a lot of people tell that story? No. Why do I tell it? Because all of us are going through stressors. And guess what? Got up this morning. I made her lunch, got her coffee. And guess what? There was no big deal. There's no problem. She just needed a little bit of alone time for her to get some good rest, because she's got to go to work in the morning. And so I tell the story because a lot of folks don't want to be vulnerable to the fact, like, oh my God, my girlfriend or boyfriend, or significant other, whoever else, got up and moved down the room. Well, I own the fact that some nights, dude, I don't know, I got some weird dreams, I guess. I just kick. And she always yells at me about this. Mm-hmm. But once I tell you this, all of a sudden you have an immediate emotional reaction going, crap, I think I might do the same thing, or I've gone through that, or I've done that, or I've experienced that. And it breaks down barriers super fast. And I love telling personal stories. And I think it's an important thing to do for all of us. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. So everybody kind of take your time, take your speed, do what you want to do, what you're comfortable with doing. But understand that the fact that each one of us puts our pants on one leg at a time. We probably take a dump at least once a day. We have to drink lots of water and eat some food. That's right. Just how life is.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
Why not talk about it?
Okay. Okay. I agree. Because I think if you can be vulnerable, then you give them a little bit of permission, hopefully to meet you at some level, right? Maybe 10% there, right? They're not gonna meet you at the level of vulnerability that you might reach out to, because not everybody's Greg McDaniel. All right.
Well, that's true.
Well, that's true, and that sucks for them.
But there is a level, and I don't mean to cut you off. I want to get this point across. There is a certain threshold of when you break through your insecurities when it comes to having conversations because you think you're going to be judged. you have to understand that other person is feeling just as vulnerable as you are, and they're just as afraid of their vulnerabilities. Because when you go meet with a buyer or a seller, or a friend or a past client or your parents, your mother-in-law, father-in-law, it doesn't matter. Everybody has fears, and that's fine. But allow people to be transparent with you if you're transparent with them first, and the conversation is going to go so smoothly. It will hurt your brain how easy this is going to be. Like I was talking with a client the other day, listed house for $1.7 million and change. And dude, you know how I got it? I talked to them about rock climbing because they converted their garage into a rock climbing facility, which, by the way, I got to send you photos. It's really incredible. But I started laughing about them and about how much I sweat and how I'd probably slip off of it. And they gave me all this, all these ideas of how not to do that. We bonded over that because I was vulnerable about the fact that I sweat a lot. I'm just a sweaty human being. My parents and friends always make fun of me for that.
Right.
But, the thing is that I didn't hold anything back. I just had a real conversation with somebody.
All right.
And that's the difference.
I'm with you. All right, so let's go back to let's jump back into the text or email sequences because, I think that this is something that the content we were talking about content a little bit, right? How to be vulnerable, not vulnerable. We were talking about fears, right? We all have fears, and if you're a smart marketer, you can craft a text message or an email, and you can address those two things, right? You can address vulnerability, or you can talk to someone's fears, right? And a lot of the most effective messaging is going right at people's fears. And I don't want to hijack this, but what are your sequences? Like, how many sequences do you have? Like what is the overall path? And nobody's going to do this, but hopefully people are listening, and hopefully somebody's going to take notes, right? So you send them a text message or an email. You want them to, I would imagine, either one, like respond back to you, or two, right? Like, and for some people, like going right to a response to Greg. A lot of people are not going to do that, right? People want to, again, as we talked about friction, reduce friction. So sometimes what you want to do is you want to send a text or an email. They want more information, but they're not ready to talk to you. So you send them to a landing page, right? And then there's a bunch of stuff you can do on a landing page. What does that process, like, again, mechanically at a high level, Greg, look like in terms of text, email, landing pages? Like, what does the flow look like in your world?
Sure, not a problem. Again, great question. Both text and email are the same sequences. It's just which mode of transportation are we going to be taking here? Are we going to be taking text or email? So the initial text or email goes out, and then there's a certain amount of time that's going to wait until we have a response or no response. So let's say there is no response. Then it's going to go through at least 5 sequences of different conversations based upon your original text. So it's going to, I'm generalizing on a massive level right now. So let's make it super simple. Hey, Toby, it's Greg. Okay, that's your first text. No response. Hey, Toby, and this is like 1 minute later. Hey, Tobes, did you get my text? Question mark. 3 minutes later. Yo, bro, you alive?
Okay.
1 day later. Yo, home cheese, where are you at? Let's have a conversation. I know you're thinking about selling your property at 123 Main Street. I saw it come off the market. Just want to touch base with you and see if you're still breathing. 2 days later, another one, and then 2 weeks later is going to be the end cap, which is going to be the period. And that's going to go run on both sides of those. Again, like I made you laugh, right? But that's how I talk. You know how I talk. And if you got that from me, you're not going to be like, oh, this is AI or a robot or whatever else. This is just, oh, it's Greg. He's hitting me up. He's being real insistent for some dumb reason. Oh, okay. Well, I should probably reach back out to him. The sequences stop as soon as the recipient responds. So the owner of 123 Main Street, as soon as Toby responds, the other sequences stop. Now it starts a human conversation. And we just go from there. So again, I mean, I don't own any stock, don't hold any value in Cleverly, spelled with a K, or likely.ai. But if you start using these two companies together, your prospecting will go from macro to micro, and you're going to be able to say, okay, I don't need to use a shotgun anymore. I can use a laser pointer, and I can find the right people to talk to and then have the right conversations with them because they're interested in having the conversation. Therefore, the argument of low inventory goes completely out the door because now we're thinking outside the box, not inside the box.
Well, you're right, but hold on. So, let's talk about that for a second because that's not. You're right to some degree, but in my mind, Greg,
Mm-hmm.
So you might have this methodology to reach people who have a property and that are thinking about selling. I think that the challenge, when inventory is an issue, right? The challenge is the fact that, dude, everybody knows a gajillion real estate agents. So they're like, okay, my friend Toby's an agent. I know this dude, Ricky, who's an agent. I work out with Matt, who's an agent, right? And then there's this guy, Greg, sending me texts, right? So the challenge or the job of a text sequence or an email sequence is to number one, you have to do something for them to go, yes, I'm not going to call Matt. I'm not going to call Toby. I'm going to call this guy Greg that I may or may not know, right? So you have to build up a level of trust or a level of interest with this person that you probably don't know. Again, if you're getting these numbers from a Land Voice or Red X or whatever.
True. Well, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you were single, and you and I are both big fans of women. They're wonderful creatures. They're incredibly beautiful and kind and intelligent, people. And we all know a lot of women. And so what's going to be the difference if you were single? I know you're married, but it's just a scenario.
Yeah.
And so you're at a barbecue and you meet this beautiful woman, and ladies, if you meet a wonderful man, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, I'll go on a date with you. You brought value to my life. Same scenario with real estate agents. Look, you can know a lot of real estate agents. We all know a lot of women, a lot of men. But when it comes down to it, where's the value add brought? Did Brad or Toby bring any value to me? But you met me, Greg, at a barbecue, and all of a sudden I'm giving you, ideas and information that could help and value add your life.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you want to talk to me?
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. That's the key, right? Like if I meet a girl at a barbecue and she's got this sparkle in her eye and she's like quick-witted, right? She's like me. We're like bang, bang, bang. There's energy there. Of course, she's going to rise to the top, right? Same thing. Right. If I meet you at a barbecue and I find out you sell real estate, and we start talking about the market, and you start telling me all sorts of crap that I'm a relatively I keep up on the news. I keep up on what's happening in the world. And all of a sudden you're telling me something I don't know, right? You're like, hey dude, this is what the world looks like in real estate right now. This is sort of like what we think is going to happen, right? Like the guys on the inside in 6 or 8 months. And maybe if you're on the fence, like maybe it's time to really dig in and look at selling it, right? You've told me something different, right? You've added some value. You've given me something where I'm like, whoa, this guy knows something that everybody else, Matt and Toby and everybody else does not know, or at least they haven't conveyed to me. And I think for most people, right, that is the thing, right? Most people, again, we said earlier, most people are not creative. So what are they going to tell me at a barbecue or on an email that I don't already know, that I haven't read in the news, right? Or
that's really simple, man. I mean, we'll go back to the dating scenario. Again, it's generic. I get it. But think about this. Why do some couples stay together? Some couples don't stay together. It's because there's nothing new that's flowing. There's nothing new that engaging between them. I mean, you have to it doesn't matter what it is. I could tell you that climate change is a farce, or that, X, Y, and Z in the political realm is whatever, right?
Sure.
But
right.
if it's engaging, then the conversation can continue. Therefore, the relationship starts to build. Once the relationship is built, then there's trust. Once there's trust, then the business relationship blooms.
Yeah, I agree. And we can drop this. 'Cause I was trying to get into some specifics. Okay, so
Go ahead.
no, that's okay. We're good. So text, email. You have these preset sequences. You send them out. As soon as they engage, you are. You know, let's talk about a little bit customer development, because I think this is all what we're talking about is how to develop a customer to the point where that $1.8 million owner says, "Yeah, Greg, dude, come on over, right? Pitch me, give me your best pitch." And I think there's more to it than just. I don't know that it's as simple as that you're making it sound, and I think people listening are going, okay, yeah, you know, I want to know more. So, what is the magic thing other than just being, I guess, bombarding them, right? Like, hey man, are you live? Hey,
Sure.
like, what is that magic thing that sort of, okay, out of all your sequences, whether it's text or emails, Greg, what is the sequence? What is the content of the one message that gets you the most engagement on average?
So there is no, because again, like I said earlier in the conversation, every single sequence is 100% customized. So it's not all exactly the same.
Okay.
The one that does get the engagement through the roof is 100% being kind, being loving, being polite. You know what? If someone tells you to go F yourself, okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry you feel that way. Have a blessed and powerful day. You know what? And then we're going to send them back a link to our landing page. If you have any additional questions, please click here. We'd love to help you out. Now, I'm doing this on two reasons. And this is why the engagement goes through the roof. Is one, I'm not telling them I'm not scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am. Everything I do is scripted, but I'm not scripted, like to the point where I'm reading off a sheet.
Right.
Second thing is that once they tell me to go F myself, I say, okay, copy that, no problem. Have a blessed and powerful day. If you have any additional questions, please feel free and hit my page here, and I can answer any additional questions. Well, once they click on that, for a fraction of 1/4 of a microsecond, I own all of your data. Now I can retarget you on all different channels. I can text, email, social media, calls, everything, because now I know who you are and you watch something that I've put out. It's about being kind and not pushing. That's what people really resonate with. And I found it to be, the law of reciprocity. If you give something to somebody first, then they are physically, chemically, emotionally bound to you to do something kind in response to you. Now, it could be not to tell you to go after yourself. It could be potentially respond back to you and have a conversation. It could be potentially get into a relationship with you or even do a deal with you. But it's all about being kind. It's all about being patient. It's all about asking what I can do for them, not what they can do for me. Mm. And once you shift your mindset around that, all of a sudden your interactions go from hostile to very kind, very open. I mean, the two calls I've had today, and I'm going to have another one in a few minutes, is like, hey, I understand you guys are thinking about selling. My VA, Karen, reached out to you guys after we sent some text messages. I understand you might be thinking about selling your home. I'd love to figure out what I can do to help you. Feel free and give me a ring back when you get a chance. It's really that simple. It doesn't have to be overthought.
Yeah, and if that's working for you, that's great. It feels to me, man, we almost need more time than I can't. I just looked at our clock. It almost feels like to me, like if you did that to me, Greg, like I personally would not be that responsive to that. And only because when somebody gives me, it's kind of like my wife when she says, "Are you hungry for dinner?" Right? Are you hungry? I go, "Yeah, sure." And she's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh man, okay." I don't, I hate going to the Cheesecake Factory because there's 8 pages of food, right? There's too many choices. Just tell me the best thing, right? Give me something. Like, don't make me do homework. And if somebody says, like, tell me what you want to eat for dinner and I'll make it, I'm like, I don't know, man. My brain, I guess maybe I'm overburdened with cognitive, stuff all day long that I just don't want to think about what I need. I need you as a professional to tell me, right? Tell me, man. You tell me, Greg, how you can help me. I have a 1.5 million dollar house. I don't know if it's the right time to sell or not. I don't even know what my options are. You tell me what you can do. And I guess
Actually,
go ahead.
let's script. Let's role play this right now.
All
I'm
right.
your Huckleberry. Let's go. You ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, ring ring.
Yeah. Hello, Toby here.
Hey, Toby. This is Greg McDaniel with ABC Real Estate. How are you?
I'm great, man. What's up?
Hey, brother. Hey, I'm not trying to bother you or anything right now. I noticed that your property at 123 Main Street came off the market. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm aware of it. Yep.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you got a billion phone calls today, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. All day. What's up, Greg?
I'm a billion and one.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, I don't know if I can even help you at all. I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, help me understand why did that property not sell?
I don't know, man. You know what? I thought my real estate agent. I have no idea. I'm not in real estate, and I have no clue, man. I just know that my guy told me he put a sign in my yard, and he says he's doing, all this marketing, and we haven't gotten the traffic that we hope for.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. So you didn't get the traffic you were looking for. I apologize for that. That sucks.
Yeah, what's up, Greg?
Are you guys still selling?
Sure. Yes, dude. I'm taking the sign out right now. But yeah, I need to get rid of this place. I want to sell it. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Okay, rock and roll. Now, you guys had it on the market, and my numbers might be wrong. Correct me if I am. But it looks like you guys are on for about $1,500,000, well, $1,499,000. Let's be honest. I mean, is that still a number you guys would sell for if I could drop it back
That's
cash
a
in your
number.
pocket?
Yeah, that's a number.
Okay, cool. So help me understand something. And I want to be respectful of your time. How much time do you have? Do you have like 2
Not
minutes
much.
left,
Not much. What's up?
Sweet. Would it be
That's
okay,
exactly, by the way, that's exactly how I'd be on the phone. So
good? I'll beat you up all damn day on this thing. I mean, I will get that appointment. Here's the reason. This is what I'm looking to do here is that what I was doing, I was mirroring and matching. I was also hearing and understanding what you're going through. I was trying to be respectful of your time frame, and I will wear you down. I guarantee. I've done over 500,000 cold calls. I guarantee I'll get you down if you're willing to still sell. The thing is that when I originally said in the conversation, you said, "Hey, man, what can I do to help you?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know what I can. Maybe I can't help you, but I'd love to have a conversation." So I'm immediately breaking down those barriers.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I'm sorry, Greg. I didn't mean to be harsh on you, but I should have played nicer. Yeah, no, and why don't so what do you push for, right? Like, so I was a little bit protective of my time in that call, right? I don't want to talk to you. I just want to hear what you can do. Right. So for me, like, if you called me, I would be like, get to the point, man, get to the point. For that kind of person, like, if you can't engage me, what is your plan B, right? Like, how do you, because like, and if I were you, I would want to get me to your page, to your landing page, right? I would want to say, hey, look, we're all the same. We all of us agents sell real estate. All of us agents say that we're going to do all this marketing. The honest truth is, very few people know how to market. Most agents are going to put a sign in their yard. That's probably what happened to you, Toby. So you know what? I'll tell you what, man. I'm a little bit different. Why don't you go to my page? Give me, man, and we can do this together. Give me 60 seconds of your time. Let me show you how I'm different than probably your last guy or the next guy is going to call you. And if it doesn't look like I can help, that's it. But give me 60 seconds of your time, right? And for me, like, I would try to drive them to that landing page where I would have good content, and on that landing page, right, then I have their IP address, and then we could spend a couple minutes. You said that if you can get that person to your landing page, then you own all their data. Explain that how mechanically that works for the people listening.
Okay, so I didn't write the code, so the back end stuff is going to be for all you computer folks who really know how to write code. But this is what is working for me. My conversation, I say, "Hey, Toby, do you have 60 seconds? I can just." Oh, actually, I don't use that verbiage at all. I say, "Toby, how much time do you have?" So play that out real quick. Toby, how much time do you have?
I have like 2 minutes, Greg. What's up?
Rock and roll, brother. That's exactly the amount of time I need.
Okay.
And no matter what the response is that they give me, I always say that's exactly the amount of time I have.
That's good.
Need,
I love
right?
it. Yep.
Then I say, look, this is what we're going to do. And I make it very matter of fact. Toby, this is how it's going to work. This is what we're going to do to help you get your home sold, because we're a team. We're going to work together as one unit, and we're going to get you and your family onto the next spot where you guys want to go. Is that fair? Yes. Fantastic. Okay, step one. And I just break it down for them. You know, my team member, Eileen, she's going to contact you. She's going to be in communication with you on a daily basis. Number two, we're going to build a Facebook business page for you. It's going to sponsor and highlight your home. We're going to build highlights about the community, your photos, your videos, interviews with you, interviews with your neighbor, me talking about local businesses in the area. Then we're going to boost that out onto Facebook for $5 to $10 a day with a radius of about 25 miles. So that's generally where we see a lot of the buyers coming in. That's actually speaking to my specific market, where buyers are specifically coming in from. And then we're going to keep adding to this because it's like a living business card, and we can keep adding content to it. We're also going to get professional drone shots, professional photos. We're going to get it staged. And also, by the way, I'm part of an organization, and it's called Clever with a K. cleverleads.com, and what they do is they have a trucking industry side, and I'm going to move you anywhere you want to move in the lower 48 states in the U.S. at a zero cost basis to you. So that's what we're going to do to get you marketed. Not to mention, we're going to send out text messages and emails out to all the local real estate agents in the area and professionals that are going to be knowing about your property prior to coming on the market, because like you said, we have a low inventory. So we're going to let everybody know about a new property prior to going on the multiple listing service, aka the MLS, so that we can hopefully get your home sold sooner than later and not have a lot of people through. Would that sound like something that would be fair to you?
Yeah, there's a lot there. You know, it almost seems like if you could quickly, I'm not asking you to do this, but like you have this method, right? You have this text email sequence method. You have the landing page method, right? And it almost seems like if I was in your orbit and you texted me however many times you texted me, then you emailed me however many times in whatever way, and then you got engagement, and then I landed on your landing page. It almost seems like if I'm in your shoes, said, "Hey, listen, here's what I'm going to do, man. You know how the way I texted you 8 times the first day, right? And then we got you into the email. Let me tell you how my system works, because nobody has this, right? Once you land on my page, I own all your data. We are going to market your house. We found our data 25 miles, 5 miles, whatever it is. We're going to market to every single person, and this is the way we're going to do it. And we're going to spend $10 a day. We might spend $800 a day, right? You have a $1.5 million house. I will spend whatever it takes. But once I get these people onto a landing page, I own them. And I'm going to bombard these people with your property. And we're going to get you that 1.5. And in this market, man, maybe we can get you 1.58, right? So
Sure.
It seems like that would be.
Yeah. So originally it comes down to the conversation, right? So as soon as I get into conversation with these individuals, then I get to identify exactly what their wants, needs, and desires are. As soon as I understand that, then I can service them in the specific manner that they want to be spoken to in. Because not everybody, like me, if you came to my house and you put down a listing presentation in front of me and it was going to take me an hour long to listen to this shit, hell no.
Right. Forget it.
Get the blank out. Just bullet point this.
Right. Well, hold on.
I don't.
You're right, and there's a reason, and I think you bring up a really good point, right? There's a reason why TED Talks are 18 minutes. 18 minutes.
Yep.
That is the limit of human. The ability to really focus on one thing. So like everybody should have like at tops, if you could engineer a solid 15-minute presentation, like you're golden. For an hour, you've lost me, man. I'm thinking about rock climbing, right? I'm thinking about skateboarding. I'm thinking about doing anything else but being here with you. I'm thinking about how to get you out my door. If you at minute 32. Right. If I'm not all in by minute 15, like you and I are probably, it's not going to work between you and me.
Dude, 100%. And this is what I love about you and I. You and I are such big D's. Like we're just like to the point, no bullshit. Let's get it down, right? And I'm a high D, high I. I'm not an S or a C. I'm not systematic, and I'm not, like by the books. And it's just not how I roll. But here's the thing: everybody goes into a listing presentation when they should go into a listening consultation.
Yes, good one.
We hear what the other person is trying to ask. And when you get into a listening consultation, you're going to say, Toby, I'm so excited that we have to spend time together. How much time do I have with you today? Greg, you have 30 minutes. Fantastic. Would it be okay if I did it in 20? Yes.
Yeah, right.
Fantastic.
Nice.
What are the most important things that you're interested in hearing? How I can help you, make this move and sell this property and buy another one,
right,
that you'd want to be interested in listening to, so I don't waste your time. And then you shut up and let them talk.
That's right.
Then
that you're exactly right. And you and I can probably do that. And I think everybody, if they're practiced enough, they can do that. Most people barely know their listing presentation, right? And they know it 1, 2, 3. And my job, I'll tell you what, my job, whether you're doing a listing presentation or you're trying to sell me a car or whatever it is, my job on this podcast is to take what you think you're going to tell me and interrupt your patterns, right? That's why when I have guys like Grant Cardone, or I'm not going to start saying names, right? Like these people who speak for a living, right? And some of these people are in the real estate world. They're big coaches, right? They speak for a living. They come here with an agenda. And my whole job is to throw them off, to interrupt their patterns, because I don't want to hear the stuff that you told the last guy. I want to hear something unique, real, and right now, right? And so my job is to throw you off. Okay. So that's great. Dude, you and I probably could go for 2 hours, but we got to wrap up here. So dude, you being ADHD, do you even read, Greg? I asked for a book recommendation. Do you read?
It is a serious pain in my nuts to read. I mean,
because you're dyslexic. How bad is your dyslexia?
Well, I'll put it this way. When I was younger, I had to go to a special school to learn how to read. And that's not a joke.
Wow.
Because it was so off, and so it really sucked. I'm better at it now. I mean, I contribute for Inman on a weekly basis with my friend Bernice Ross, and so she forces me to read her articles, and I love her. She's amazing, and she does incredible work, but it sucks. So I listen. My favorite thing is listening to podcasts. I'm on Clubhouse, listening to people talk. Everything else. But you asked for a book recommendation. Is that correct? Something that I really enjoy.
What are you reading? Like what? Yeah. I mean, here's the setup, right? I'm an aspiring agent. I have $25. What book should I go buy right now?
Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller.
Yep. Fantastic book.
I recommend is because it helps you understand exactly how you're going to communicate your value add to the rest of the public. Otherwise, the thing about the human brain is that, and you'll read about this in the book, Building the Story Brand, is that our primordial part of our brain, what's called our reptilial part of our brain, it is designed to keep us alive. Literally, it's the only job it does, is to keep us alive. And so if you confuse someone with too much information, maybe like what I've done with you on this podcast, hopefully not, but maybe I did, then you'll start to tune out. Once you start to tune out, that's your body saying, I have to save energy because I need to stay away from the saber-toothed tiger that's going to jump out of the bushes and eat me for lunch. So I got to keep my energy up. So I got to stay awake. So when it comes to communication and understanding your brand and your story and conveying that efficiently and concisively, it'll change the way you view everything. And so if you have $25, I would go buy that book 100% of the time. And also, I mean, never split the difference by what's his
Voss,
Chris Voss. Yes,
I had that guy in the show. That guy's a very challenging guy to interview. Like I was 20
I've done it twice. I know.
20 minutes in, I was just like, dude, I want off this call. And then I heard Chris Voss like a year or two after I interviewed him on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert, and I heard Dax having a hard time with this guy, and so I don't. Yeah, I'll tell you. After listening to Chris, I wouldn't buy that book, but that's interesting that you like it.
Oh, oh, I love it because I mean, one of the simplest negotiating tactics that you can put into practice immediately. It can be with your spouse, significant other, your in-laws, your clients, your coworkers, whatever it is. People want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. That's it. Okay. So the easiest way to do that is to repeat the last 1 to 3 words that person says in the next sentence that you speak, and that'll allow them to start being heard and seen. And that's why I love that so much. And also, another great book is called Blue Fishing. By the way, it's a marketing book. You're probably going to love it. Blue Fishing by Steve Sims.
I don't know that book.
This guy, oh my God. You and I got to talk about this book. This guy's an English guy, big old burly, like a brick of a man, right? He actually used to lay bricks. That's actually what he used to do. But then he started getting into marketing. And once you get this book, you understand how out-of-the-box marketing works incredibly well. Like one of the favorite things he does, and I did it as well. I've done it as well. It's actually incredible how well this works. Is any hotel you go to or any hotel you're around, in a big city or a small city, doesn't matter, go in and get some stationery from the hotel. And like I was in Tokyo 2 years ago. I grabbed a bunch of pieces of paper that said, the Hilton in Tokyo. And I then wrote little notes to clients, and then I put it in an envelope. And on an envelope, I wrote it in magic marker on the front, 100% open rate. And this guy has been able to do incredible things. And again, it's thinking outside the box and doing things people aren't doing. Everyone wants a glossy, shiny, full color, yada, yada. Dude, why don't you get with the ugliest piece of paper you can possibly find, get a Sharpie out,
Sure.
write their name
Yes.
on the front, and boom, done. You will get opened.
That's you're right. You're right because it's so unusual, right? You're like magic marker. Who is sending me this? And then it's from Tokyo. Like you can't help but go, I gotta open this thing, right? And then you got and then once you start reading, you're like, I gotta finish it because what is this all about? Yeah, that's a good. That's. I mean, I think that was worth with everybody listening for 58 minutes here. Dude, okay, all right. One last question, and then I'll let you go, and then we can let everybody know where they can find you. Do you I honestly was making a joke about your ADD. I don't think I knew that you had ADHD, so I apologize. No, seriously, I apologize if I called you out on that. And but you do have a little bit, of a manic streak in you. Like you do all sorts of different things. Like for a while, man, you were running around with a selfie stick and a killer like 3D camera, and like you were going places and you were live streaming it. This is a long time ago. But like you do stuff like that, which I think is interesting. I think you got to do that kind of stuff to figure out what's working or not working. And for you with your brain that wants to go from this to that to this to that, like do you have a routine or habit that sort of centers you for the day? Or are you just this guy like this you wake up and you're like a coiled spring and you don't know which way you're going to bounce, left, right, up, down?
Good question. I live and die by my calendar. So anything on my Google Calendar is what's going to happen that day. If it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. End of story. One of the things that I love to do, getting back into it, COVID kind of took it a little bit out of me, is that I love to get out and I love to get the energy going in my body. I love to go out and run or do a core workout or do something to get the blood pumping. Because what I do is I take that time as my time to learn. And so I'll throw on a podcast or a book or something as I'm running down the road. People thinking I'm listening to the newest, song on the radio. No, man, I'm learning. And so it gets my brain moving to get out there and just, get sweaty, get stinky, look freaking nasty, but come back in and being able to settle myself down. So then I shower up, put some clothes on, eat some food, get in front of the computer, drink my tea, because coffee is really not my thing. Drink my caffeinated tea, and then just start crushing it out. My whole mindset about this whole day is it's not about can I get a deal. It's like who can I bring value to? Like if there's one person I can touch today, who is it going to be? It's like opening up Easter eggs. Every phone call, every conversation, every interaction. It's like how can I take this apart? How can I find value? Where can I bring in something that's going to make that person's day a little bit better, even if it's just me not talking to them anymore? But I just go after it without a doubt every single day, day in and day out. And my regimen is very simple. It used to be convoluted. My team manager actually used to yell at me all the time. She always would tell me like my schedule made her dizzy because it was batshit crazy, 100%. And so now I've gone to this. I'm doing one valuable thing every single day. And then the rest of the day is mine. Whatever that's going to look like. Is that a listing appointment? Am I showing a property? And am I doing multiple things, but it's still towards one goal of, helping a client, whatever it is. And then my day is free in my mind.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I get more business doing that. I get more business doing that than running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, that's good. That's good. So you kind of have like a one thing. You're like, what is the one thing I can do today? You focus on your calendar. And then, because I was going to ask, right, if you live and die in your calendar, like there's got to be a place where you just let your brain go. You got to cut it loose, right? You have to untether it. You have to let that brain run like a wild golden retriever. You know what I mean? Just running down the street, looking to get pet. So you do your one thing. And then you let your brain run.
Yeah, I also give myself a break. I'm not putting so much pressure on myself anymore. Again, it's like any of us have ever gone on vacation. As soon as you say you're going to go on vacation, like I'm going on vacation to Yosemite tomorrow, right? Dude, my day is batshit today. Oh. It's nonstop back-to-back stuff because my body is working hard to get everything done. So if you allow yourself to be the golden retriever running down the road, trying to get pet by everybody, you might get pet, you might not. But The thing is that, when it comes to my day, my enjoyment, between my meetings, between my calls, between my video conferences and everything else like we're all doing, dude, I put on some music, I put on a podcast, I put on a book, I put on something that brings joy to my life that keeps me propelled for the rest of the day. And it's simple. Like I have some dumb music I listen to. I mean, there's a
BTS
guy. He's a guy named. He's a gangster. His name is Mr. Criminal. That's literally his stage name. And he's got this crazy rap song done in like 2007 or something like that. And I listen to that song like almost every day because I'm like, pumps me up, or fill in the blank or whatever else it's going to be. But it just makes me happy. So find whatever's going to make you happy. Whatever's going to release a little tension from your brain. Just give yourself a second. Breathe. Just, gosh, man, we're going to be older tomorrow. Why not enjoy a little bit about today?
That's right. You're right. If we get tomorrow, right? You can get in your car and bam, right? Okay, let's not go morbid here. All right, my man. Hey, buddy, it's always great talking to you. If people want to know more about what you are doing, Greg, how can they find you?
Toby, I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate everybody's time on the podcast today. Where if you guys want to get a hold of me and learn a little bit more about me, Tobe's going to be on my podcast really, really soon. It's called Real Estate Uncensored, and I cannot wait for our interview together, so you guys can look for us there. Also, just follow me, Greg McDaniel, on Facebook. I'll be the devastatingly handsome guy with glasses and brown hair. And then on Instagram at Greg McDaniel, and then REU for Real Estate Uncensored. And follow me there for all my weird stuff that I post in regards to my runs and kind of things I do on my daily basis. So, yeah, that's where you can reach my friend. I can't wait to get you on my show.
That's awesome, buddy. All right, man. Thanks for taking the time. I'll talk to you soon. All right. See you, bud.
Brother.
Bye-bye.
You're a legend.
See ya.